Imagine losing someone you love and not knowing if they're alive or gone forever. For 18 years, a family clung to a fragile thread of hope, chasing every rumor, every possible lead. Then, one quiet morning, a woman walked into a police station, standing right in front of bewildered officers with a story that no one could have ever predicted. How had she survived? Where had she been all these years? And why did she stay silent for so long? This is a story that begins in a small town, a place haunted by the disappearance of a young woman. Her face was once on every telephone pole, every local news broadcast. But as years turned into a decade, then nearly two, the posters faded and the media coverage dwindled. For her family, though, the pain never did. They held on, clinging to every whisper of a sighting, every anonymous phone call, every unverified tip. They were forced to imagine the worst, fearing they would never see her again, never get an answer. Every holiday, every birthday, every simple family gathering was shadowed by an empty seat at the table, a missing smile in the photos, and the ever-present unanswered question of why. In the background, investigators occasionally revisited the cold case files. Would re-examine old sightings, review every clue, and more often than not, quietly move on when the leads ran dry. Yet, in the heart of the community, hope never fully disappeared. Friends would sometimes whisper about her, wondering what could have happened. Strangers would occasionally call in, claiming to have seen someone who looked just like her in a distant city. The town collectively waited, unsure if the day would ever come when the missing woman's story would finally unfold. Then, completely out of the blue, the impossible happened. One morning, a woman walked into a police station in a town hundreds of miles away. She looked weary, much older than her years, but she was unmistakably the girl who had vanished almost 2 decades ago. The officers who took her statement were stunned. It was a ghost walking through their door. Her name had been relegated to a cold case file, a tragic local legend. And now, here she was. How had she survived, and why was she coming forward now? She carried with her a story that was almost too incredible to believe. A story of survival, of hidden struggles, and of secrets she had protected for years. Her account was filled with hardship, a life lived under lost identities, a world of forced isolation, and personal battles no one could have ever imagined. She had lived a life completely off the grid, invisible to the world that had been searching for her. Yet, through it all, she was alive. Each detail she shared only seemed to raise more questions than it answered. Investigators were now faced with the monumental task of piecing together her life over 18 long, silent years. Her resilience was nothing short of remarkable, but the trauma she carried was equally profound. The reunion with her family was everything you'd imagine, and more. It was emotional, raw, and overwhelmingly powerful. Tears flowed freely, hugs lingered for minutes on end, and years of deep, gnawing pain slowly began to give way to a wave of unbelievable relief. The daughter, the sister, the friend they thought was lost forever, was home. Yet, even as joy started to fill the void that her absence had created, the shadows of unanswered questions remained. Why had she stayed away for so long? Could this entire ordeal have been prevented? The family was ecstatic to have her back, but they also had to grapple with the fact that the person who returned was not the same one who had left. 18 years of hidden trauma had changed her in ways they were only beginning to understand. The town that had never forgotten her was now captivated by her return. Her story spread like wildfire, becoming a testament to the power of survival, the fragility of human life, and the mysterious, often cruel ways that fate can twist our lives. For the rest of us, looking in from the outside, it's a story of pain, incredible endurance, and the shocking reality that sometimes the missing can return, bringing with them both the answers we crave and a whole new set of questions that may never be solved. It makes you wonder, would you have recognized a loved one after 18 years of change and hardship? And what would you do if someone you loved simply returned one day, without any explanation for their absence? It's a scenario most of us can't even begin to fathom. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as compelling as we did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. We'll see you in the next one.